What is up, legends?
Little bit more nasally and high pitched to match my voice, and then just
What is up,
extend.
legends?
What? What's up, legends? Welcome to an exclusive 3 day late unmatched announcement reaction video. My name is Baked Goods. I'm joined today by
Oh, Angel. Hi, my name is Angel. Hello.
Angel. Also goes by Historically Unmatched, which is his YouTube channel, which I believe I've shared a couple videos in my community page, but I will definitely link his socials down below. Because what type of videos do you make, Angel?
Despite my annoying personality, I actually tend to do more informative videos about Unmatched because I think it's something that no one's done yet, and I want other people to also learn about the characters that I'm learning about. So I do informative, like history videos
Mm-hmm.
covering the characters on Unmatched.
If you are ever in need of a nice injection of lore into your life,
Yeah, nice little
and
brief injection.
you're tired
They're
of
like,
waiting for the next Defender Resolves First book club episode to come out, go check out Angel's channel because he will give you a deep dive into the background of a bunch of characters, especially the newer ones that are coming out.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Want to
anyways,
cover the ones coming, and then later do like the older ones.
I just showered, so my hair is extra floofy. Anyways, the point of today's video is we are going to talk about the new restoration games. I shouldn't have done that because my camera unfocused. The point of today's video is we are going to talk about today's. Still not focusing. Today's. Uh, I could cut that part out, but I won't. The point of today's video is we're going to talk about the new announcement from Restoration Games that there is a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Unmatched Adventure set coming to crowdfunding in September, I believe.
Yeah,
And
September.
I do not know a damn thing about this IP. So I said, hey, let's break it down with someone who does. Because Angel is the number one stan of pre-pubescent
Keep going.
amphibians. What are turtles anyway? Reptiles. I think that sounds right.
Reptiles.
Are those?
Yes, I think they're reptiles.
Yes. That. 1 second. We're gonna Google that. But Angel, tell us about TMNT.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of funny that the community has already like assigned me this role because now I get DMs about people asking me about TMNT questions and stuff. But I basically grew up with this franchise. It's like the number one IP I wanted unmatched. And oh, they are reptiles.
They are reptiles.
They got the beak. They got like the beak thing. It's not an actual beak, but I think they call it a beak. Um, but yeah, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sounds exactly like what it looks like. Bunch of teenagers, bunch of mutants, a bunch of ninjas, a bunch of turtles,
But
not
all at the
separated,
same
all
time. Yeah.
fused together. Yeah, so it's basically, well, it depends on where you're coming from. Because either A, it's about a bunch of 90s teenagers partying hard in the sewers and eating pizza, radical, gnarly,
Cowabunga.
or Cowabunga, Cowabunga. Or it's about four reincarnated brothers from a Japanese clan that ended up in New York and are fighting against a different Japanese clan.
You're
Same
reading
franchise.
between lines I did not know existed.
Same franchise. Same franchise. Um, so yeah, it just depends on where you're coming from. I think for this video, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
focus on the party dudes because that seems to be what seems to be what Restoration's mainly taking from.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that seems like a good segue. Let's watch the reveal teaser trailer thing
Ooh,
that was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
posted on the website formerly known as Twitter. RIP.
That's a rap, man. Not for them facts, man. A slap to the face. Reality's back.
All right, Angel.
Well,
Thoughts?
well, immediately, I really, really liked
Immediately!
the
Immediately!
immediately. It's my
Immediately!
favorite combat effect. Um, I really liked the setting that they put in. That was also like really, really cool between like the surprising hip hop music, but kind of banged.
I mean,
Um,
that's just the
and
type of music that Rob Davio listens to every single day. So
yeah,
it
that's actually part of his
fits right in.
that's part of his alarm. That music plays. And it's actually the sewer grade of Unmatched Adventures, like when it plays.
I love that when they were closing the sewer and then it was like Unmatched Adventures. I was like,
Yeah,
ooh, spicy.
yeah. And then you see the like the Shredder shadow. It's really sick.
Yes.
But yeah, very cute little teaser. Makes me really excited because I want to see them do like some cool, crazy reveals for like Tales to Amaze, because Tales to Amaze was also in Kickstarter for those who don't know. Um, when Tales to Amaze was coming out, they did like a bunch of like wallpapers and they like trailers and they had like the voiceovers in the trailers. They're so cute. I loved it.
I did some deep dives into the hidden meaning behind some of those trailers. Um, Humanity at its best. I don't know if you remember that meme, but that was amazing.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we know who these characters are. So probably not going to be any like secret trailer breakdowns. I guess we're just going to break down what we know. The
Yeah.
link in the Twitter post that was teased sends you to a page to sign up for the. I think sign up to get notified about the crowdfunding campaign that's going live in September. And on the page, there is a classic unmatched cover art diamond of the four turtles. And then in the
Yep.
background, there are two characters in the background. Angel, who are those characters?
So I believe on the right is generally the main villain, Shredder. He is, how do I explain Shredder in a simple way? He is the leader of a clan, but depending on where he's from, he's kind of goofy. Um,
Gorsh.
yeah, so most of the time he's pretty menacing, and in this art he actually looks pretty menacing. But he's the leader of a Foot Clan. The clan is called the Foot Clan. And they're basically invading New York, trying to take it over. And he himself, he's ruthless, mean, except for in the 80s cartoon where he's a Saturday morning cartoon villain. Uh, and
We were both
he's
alive
just
in
like,
the 80s to watch that.
yeah, I was. Yeah, I remember. Um, and yeah, he's basically like, your pretty traditional, mean, tough villain, very serious, and he's one of the coolest and strongest characters in the franchise. Um,
The
a
the Gary
little,
M of TMNT, if you will.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Um, cool.
Although Gary M's power level is way higher
Yeah,
than this
yeah,
character you're
exactly.
describing.
One of the coolest things I'd like to note about Shredder is that normally you have like your traditional main villain and the hero is usually like thwarting their plans constantly. The turtles basically have to put all of their power level work together in order to stand a chance against Shredder. That's how strong he is. Um, there have been a couple iterations in like movies and stuff. Uh, one of the ones I think that's best to describe how strong Shredder is that he went toe to toe with Batman once and they tied.
Hmm. Was that in the Michael Bay movie?
That was not in the Michael Bay movie.
Was that in
No,
the movie with the turtle masks where you could see the actor's face inside?
there is an animated movie of TMNT where they go to Gotham.
Mm. Okay.
It's actually a pretty good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Better than the Michael Bay movies.
Impossible. So you said his clan is called the Foot Clan.
Yes.
Do they have any beef with Elektra's Hand Clan?
Yeah.
They do.
So yesn't, because something that a lot of people might not know is that Ninja Turtles is actually based off of Daredevil.
But they
I
can
don't
see.
remember. They can see.
And they're not
Yeah,
lawyers.
they're not lawyers, but they made a couple changes
Or
along the
or
way.
boxers.
I don't know the full context actually, but I do know that the concept of TMNT was based off of Daredevil between like Hand Clan, Foot Clan. You have Stick in Daredevil, and in TMNT you have Splinter. Splinter is a rat that lives in the sewers
What
and
did you just
trains
call
the
me?
Ninja Turtles. He's basically their dad,
Mm-hmm.
but cool most of the time.
Interesting. Who was the other
But yeah,
villain in the background on that
the
page?
other villain, the villain on the left that looks like the gum under your shoe, is called Krang.
The Big Mike of TMNT, if you will.
Big Mike of TMNT, that's right. Exactly. Um, Krang is a an alien from another dimension called Dimension X, and he is coming to Earth to, let's call it, Krangify the planet and take over the world with him and his race of Krang. The race is called Krang. His name is Krang. We are all Krang. Usually, because he's a literal blob, he's really smart. He builds like machines and stuff, and he is in a mech suit constantly. So that's how he moves around and whatnot. Because otherwise, he's just a blob dragging himself across the floor.
Okay.
So he has a big mech suit, and the thing that he's also most known for is this giant spaceship. Looks like the Death Star, but it's cooler because it's not the Death Star. Uh, it is called the Technodrome.
Say that one more time.
It's called the Technodrome.
Tech.
Could you spell that out for me? Technodrome?
I
Spelling bee?
this does not sound cooler than the Death Star, which can blow up planets.
The Death Star can blow up planets, but it's in a worse franchise, which makes it not as cool.
I hung up for the meme. um, how many how many trilogies of TMNT are there?
There's actually no trilogies, I don't think.
Mm.
There is one trilogy.
So you're
There's a
so,
live action trilogy.
so you're down 3-1
No, I'm
already.
not down 3-1. Do you know why? Because instead of wasting our time making bad trilogies, we ended up making good animated series
Okay.
and good
This is
comics.
this is
Which
not
I'll give it up. Star Wars comics are actually pretty good, and they're honestly better than the movies.
okay. Rebuttal. If Star Wars didn't exist, we wouldn't have Unmatched. Check,
Ours.
mate. All right, let's go.
GG's.
Um, so it looks like those are the two villains for
Yeah.
the
It seems
set.
like they're going to be our two villains. Yeah, makes sense.
What?
If you are in the Restoration Discord and you're following the TMNT UMA spoiler thread, you'll also know that Bebop and Rocksteady, quote, will make an appearance.
What are those words that you just said?
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yes.
So Bebop and Rocksteady are one of the most iconic duos in like cartoon villain history, I'd say. Even if you don't follow TMNT,
I
you
do
know
not.
who Bebop and Rocksteady are.
I
Usually.
don't know.
Usually. Bebop and Rocksteady are the Beavis and Butthead of TMNT.
Does one of
Bebop,
them turn into
he,
Cornholio?
no. Bebop, he is a mutated warthog.
That's me. A mutated warthog? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, he becomes a mutated warthog. So he's this giant ass warthog. He's got like the horns.
Camera
He's got
unfocused
these
again.
cool he's got these cool purple shades, and he's got a sick purple mohawk. Actually, when I was a kid, I wanted a purple mohawk because of Bebop. But
Now that you
unfortunately, my
say
hair
that,
couldn't stand up, so it just fell to my side instead.
that does sound familiar. Were they in one of the Michael Bay movies?
They were in the second Michael Bay movie.
I remember seeing them and being like, huh, that looks like something that probably shouldn't be in live action.
Yep. And then
Okay.
Rocksteady, Bebop is in most iterations they're usually the same. They're like two bumbling idiots, but they're big brutes. In some iterations, Bebop is a little smarter than Rocksteady. Rocksteady definitely tends to be the more head buddy type guy.
So you said bumbling oafs. So they're the Zero Skater and the Chad of the TMNT universe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I
Zero
completely
Skater
understand.
specifically being the Rocksteady.
That one's the Rhino.
Yes, Rocksteady is a rhinoceros mutated. Uh, he usually solves his problems by charging right into them.
So they said they might make an appearance.
They, quote, will make an appearance.
Okay.
That's all we got.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it looks like, based on the cover diamond thing, looks like those are probably going to be our four heroes.
Yes,
If
that would make
so,
perfect sense.
it would
It
make
would not
perfect
make sense
sense.
in any other way,
So,
actually.
question:
Yeah.
are they not too similar of characters to make into four distinct turtles?
So at face value, to a foolish young mortal, they may seem like the exact same character four times copy pasted. And that tends to happen to people that don't like looking between the lines and can't see that clearly these are four different characters, four brothers who grew up together, and each of them grew differently. So I guess this would be a perfect segue into breaking down each of the turtles themselves.
Sure.
Uh, First, we got Leonardo. Most of the time, he is the blue one. Most of the time, he's gonna be like the leader, the traditional leader type guy. In some iterations, he's like the insert character. So, like, kids that are watching will be like, "Oh, I feel like I'm Leonardo. I want to be Leonardo." And one of my favorite things about Leonardo is they kind of use that to their benefit for future series because in future series, and this might bring Leonardo up in your tier list of best Ninja Turtle, he's actually a huge geek. In a lot of the shows, he likes watching basically in-universe Star Trek parodies. It's actually really cute. He's like, so he like watches it and like the Captain Kirk equivalent in the show, because obviously it's not actually Star Trek. The Captain Kirk equivalent is like the character he looks up to, and he wants to be a good leader for
Okay.
his brothers, just like that. In some iterations and other iterations, he's a little more serious, kind of reserved and wise, and he's usually the one that listens to Splinter, their father slash teacher, the most because he doesn't like joking around or anything. He likes just he's a good boy. He's a teacher's pet.
Fuck this guy.
All right, I guess you'll be the one stuffing him in a locker then. Sounds like you'll be liking Raphael a lot
I'm
more.
gonna put him in a box in my closet with my Wukong character. Never to be played.
Yeah. In you go.
One day I'll smash him with a hammer.
Raphael, as I just mentioned, he is most of the time going to be the brooding, edgy, cool guy. He doesn't play by the rules. He doesn't like being a team player. You know, he doesn't like being cool and homies with like the other turtles usually. He's like, I could do it myself type guy.
The Darkblade 113 of the TMNT universe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
What would that make Leonardo?
Teachers, Palma Deppen. Definitely Palm.
Yep. Yep.
Fucking
100%.
nerd.
But yeah, Raphael, he's like, I think if I had to look at the Unmatched roster and name a character that Raphael would hang out with, I would say Angel.
Okay, because you said brooding, and I was like, usually
Yeah,
two and two
e-
makes four.
exactly. Four turtles. And yeah, so he wields two sai, kind of like
Electra.
Electra,
Okay.
exactly. He wields a two sai, and he's like a little gruffer, a little meaner. He's very
Definitely
tough.
Darkbraid. Definitely
Yeah,
Darkblade.
a little more serious and reserved as well. He doesn't like being a team player. He likes doing his own thing, which is why he hangs out with one of his homies, Casey Jones. Casey Jones is
The hockey player.
he is a hockey player. He's like DC's sports master, but better in every way because he's like this cool like vigilante type.
Sound like my dog scratching at my door.
Cool.
Vigilante.
Yeah, he's like this cool, edgy vigilante, and Raph feels like Casey's the only one that can understand his like edge and angst. So they like sometimes go on their own without the other turtles and they clean the streets themselves. Just two boys.
Lucio. That's Darkblade's Twitch mod. So
Yep, yep, yep.
he's
His
also the man.
sidekick. And then what turtle should we do next? It'd probably be Donatello. Donatello, he is the sweaty, dorky, nerd. Uh,
I found him. I found him. I found him. I found him.
Donnie is actually one of my favorites, but I love all four of them.
Mm-hmm.
Donnie, he builds gadgets. He's really smart, mentally ahead of his time, but
Maybe not you.
sometimes the probably not me. Um, he's mentally ahead of his time. He's like really smart, but sometimes his ego does him in because he's so smart that he's like, I'm above everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And so like usually in TMNT stories, it's him having to learn to humanize himself and be like, hey,
Hydrate, homies.
I am really smart, but I need to learn to not just use this, but to sometimes also use this. You got two hearts?
American education system, right there, everyone.
And finally, that leaves Michelangelo. Uh, Michelangelo is, at face value, he seems like the gnarly skateboarder pizza dude, which in like the 80s cartoon, he pretty much is. But in my favorite iterations of Michelangelo is he's the youngest of the four.
Mm-hmm.
So he has the most, let's call it innocent mind and biggest heart of the four of them. He's the little baby brother, uh, and everyone loves him. Sometimes they like, they bully him a bit, like brothers do, boys being boys. Um, but when things get tough and serious, he's the one that brings them together as a team mentally, and then Leonardo can help and lead them to victory. But Michelangelo is the one that lifts them up when they're down.
Mm-hmm.
He's the sweet baby boy of the four.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the four Ninja Turtles. So
Okay.
very different characters. They're not the same at all. I understand why some people may think that they're the same because unfortunately in some of the most famous iterations, they are kind of the same. Like in the live action movies, not the Michael Bay movies, we don't talk about those. In the live action movies in the 90s, they were pretty much the same character for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Michelangelo, Michelangelo blue, Michelangelo purple, and Raphael.
Okay.
And then also in the 80s and 90s cartoon, they were kind of samey. I think I actually never finished the series, but I think that in the later seasons they did become a little more diverse. instead of just being the same character.
You're telling me I brought you on here to be my lore guy, and you don't even know all the lore?
Of the 80s and 90s cartoon, I had never finished it technically.
Don't make me hang up again.
I I see your hand reaching out, don't do it. But yeah, I think that's actually the only thing that I never fully consumed. I watched the entire 2003 show. I watched the 2007 movie. I watched the Michael Bay movies, unfortunately.
I watched the 2007 movie. I have seen that.
Nice, nice. That was pretty good. Um,
It's with the
I watched the
monsters and stuff,
2012
right?
series. I think so. I watched the 2012 series that I think, other than comics, I think 2012 is probably the best visual media interpretation of the TMNT. If people have, some people have actually asked me since TMNT got revealed, like, what would you recommend me getting into?
Mm-hmm.
And my answer is always, it depends. Are you looking for a traditional TMNT story? Or are you looking for, a really good thing, but it's super different? If you're looking for traditional, I'd recommend 2012 because it captures the 80s and 90s party dude Cowabunga guys, but it also has a story
Mm-hmm.
and it gets like a little more serious and it touches into like remember when I said that it was two clans facing each other from Japan and
Mm-hmm.
turtles reincarnating and all of that crazy stuff? It touches into that a bit, but not too much to where it's like what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So 2012 would be what I usually recommend, and then 2017 is really solid, but it's very different from the rest of the franchise.
Hmm.
It is, I think, story aside, visually the best interpretation of TMNT in any animation or live action or anything. It that you can look up like fights of that series and it looks like an anime. Like it's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. I love it though. I actually did like 2017. It starts off a little slow, but once it kicks off and it starts going crazy.
So to kind of wrap up this video, we were gonna watch one of our fellow content creators and see his reaction to what the news was for the set dropping.
Yeah.
Because I have my expert here. I want to see what his top notch expert opinion is, and that is Kike, the maneuver man. So we're gonna see what he has to say about all this.
So if you go on the Restoration Games website, whatever.com/TMNT, you get to see this awesome render of all four turtles. I'm going to be a Mikey main, obviously, and then I'm going to be a Raph main. And if I get to it, I'll be a Leo main. And sometimes I'll play Donnie too. Actually, he looks sick. I don't know why I'm hating. I don't know why I'm hating so much. I have such a problem. You guys only see me once in a while, and sometimes I am just a little stinker. I'm actually a lot like this in the morning. You know what I'm saying, fellas? You know what I'm saying, fellas? Isn't that me without my coffee? You know what I mean? Don't talk to me until I've had my pizza in the morning, because I'm a turtle. Look, Krang, he's there too.
That guy doesn't know shit.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb as hell.